Hello, my name is Brian Van Dyke, Member Service Manager with Torrance Community Credit Union. I'm here today to talk to you about different types of credit product. There are two main types. We have secured products, such as houses and boats and cars, and then we have unsecured products. These are most commonly loans that are not secured by any kind of collateral, and credit cards. Today I'll talk to you about credit cards specifically, and most importantly, how to establish a credit card and start using it to build good credit. When you first go to get your card, there are a couple different types. We have secured cards. These are secured by funds that you provide. And they can start as low as $300. Unsecured, which is kind of like your standard credit card when most people think of those, and that's something that you can get at your credit union and a variety of other sources, as well as a store card. Store cards are normally gotten at like TJ Maxx or Best Buy, and they are very specific and tend to have higher rates. When you go to get your credit card, depending on which type you're going for, it is important that you have a use case in mind. I always like to tell people when you're first going out to establish credit, you want to know how much you're going to use the card for, what type of limit you need, and your future uses for that card. It is sometimes difficult to plan out what you'll need, not just now, but 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. But that is a very important thing when you're going to get your first credit card, because that should be the card that you use for a long time. The nice thing with a credit card is it is a use and payback product. So you buy things that you would normally buy and then pay it back. Because of this, limit is not as important as a lot of people tend to think. A card with a $500,000 limit is a good place to start. As long as you make your monthly payments and are using that for a very specific purpose, it tends to work really well for you not to go over that. And it's a good way to set yourself a budget, a spending limit, so that way you know each month kind of how much you're using, you know, what your standard use cases are. I love a card that is good for gas and groceries. It's a great place to start. It's really easy to look back over your history and say, I spent $500 in the last 6 months, you know, per month over the last 6 months on gas and groceries. So I'm going to get a card that has about that limit, so that way I know I can use it for gas and groceries. Things that you need to buy anyways, a really good way to start establishing credit, because that way you're not going out and making extra purchases, you know, no big ticket items. When you first start to establish credit, you want to have it be just a replacement for your debit card that you use and then pay back as your use case goes on. That's a really good way to first start. There are a couple really important things with credit cards I want to touch on before we end. When you use them, you want to make sure that you're not using it to its maximum limit unless you have to. You know, certain cases come up, that's fine, but in general, we want to keep that use around 50 to 75% at the most. It shows a really good usage history and will help you build your credit faster, as well as, you know, you don't want to be applying and opening up a lot of cards at once. 1 or 2 credit cards are a really good way to start. At most 2, you know, once you kind of get the feel for using it, paying it back, that way you can kind of know your limits and know your use case. And it's different person to person, and we're here at Torrance Community Credit Union to help you with any of those questions and needs you may have. It's kind of our speciality, so please come see us.